I've been fortunate to work with Lamar since 2014 in those capacities I mentioned earlier. I also worked with, I believe it's 2014 Citizens Bond Advisory Committee and the 2017 Citizens Bond. So I'm very familiar with the process Lamar Consolidated uses as we move forward to this one. I'm going to go back and share my screen so I can move back to where we were. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Sherry. And Sherry, let you start the introductions.
Okay, I will. Thank you, Ken. My name is Sherry Sides, and he's right. I was his deputy superintendent. And I have worked together in 2-3 districts, so we're long friends. I have heard him sing the praises of Lamar for years, and I finally said, Ken, please let me help you. He's letting me help, so I'm excited to be here, Dr. Randle and staff. I work for Intruder Learning. As Ken said, we do a lot of strategic planning and then special projects like this. So it's wonderful to see you by Zoom. I hope before this process is over, we'll see each other in person. I want to introduce. Now, Ken, do we still have 62 members? How many do we have now in the group? Are you still, you're muted, Ken. Okay. Anyway.
We have 74 now.
Okay, we have 74.
Yeah.
Committee itself is about 62 members, but we have lots of staff and lots of people tonight to help us with the presentations. So I'm going to just call names out, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher your name. And Barbara, take yourself off of mute because you can help me with these names if I just absolutely mess it up. And as I call your name, then if you'll just start talking, take yourself off of mute, tell us who you are again, your name. Who you represent. Are you a community member? Are you a staff member? Are you a student? And so forth. So we'll get to know each other even better as we go through the process, but tonight we can at least put a name and a face. So I'm going to start with Barbara. The first name is Sakra Anthony. Are you here? I think you're a student.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, tell me how you say your first name.
Kyra Anthony.
Kyra Anthony.
Yes, ma'am.
What grade are you in?
I'm a junior at Terry High School.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Our next one is Carlos Herrero. Did I get that close? Carlos?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Carlos.
Yeah, it's Carlos. Ariola.
Okay, Ariola.
I'm a community member, and yes, excuse me. So I don't know what else you want to know, but yeah, just community member. Yeah, thank you.
Community member. Glad you're here. Okay, our next is Jennifer Baker. Is Jennifer here? Okay, Jennifer. Okay, well, she may come. Then we have Brandon Bankston. Oh, I'm sorry. Jennifer was a trustee. And so we all trustees are invited, but of course we're keeping it for posting reasons to 3. So, okay, next is Brandon Bankston. Are you here? Okay. Christopher Baylor.
Good evening, guys. Chris Baylor here.
Yay, Chris. Who are you representing?
I am a community representative. I am representing my son is a student at Lamar Junior High.
Wonderful. Thank you. Brooke, how do I pronounce your last name? Beierle. Barbara, help me.
Hi, this is Brooke Byerly.
There we go. Byerly. Gotcha.
I'm a community member, and I have two boys at Huggins Elementary.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Then we have Julie Benningfield.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Julie. Yay, I saw you early. You were early.
Yeah, hi. Yes. I'm a community member, and I have a son about to attend Navarro next year.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Yes. Thank you. Jennifer Berry. Are you here, Jennifer?
Yes, I am. I'm a community member, and I have a student who is in the class of 2020 Terry High School.
Okay.
She's a senior.
Senior. Oh, goodness. What about Sarah Blackard? Are you here, Sarah? Okay. Okay, let's go to Rick Bland. Oh, Rick is with PBK. He's one of our architects. So we'll get more introductions later but are you here, Rick?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm here, Rick Bland, partner with PBK Architects, and we were hired to do the assessment and the long-range plan that you'll see later on.
So you'll be presenting in just a few minutes. So Kathleen Boland, are you here, Kathleen?
I am. I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer for the school district.
Oh, wonderful. How have I not met you? We need to meet. Okay, I am down to Vicki. Is it Chacon? Help me with that. Are you here, Vicki? Okay. Maureen Cooper?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Maureen.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm a community member, and I have a daughter who is in 4th grade at Frost Elementary.
Okay, wonderful. We have Robert Cullison.
Good evening. My name is Rob Cullison. I'm a community member. My wife is a English language art teacher at Ryan High School. I'm sorry, Ryan Middle School. I've got a daughter at Ryan and then a daughter at Dickinson.
Wow, you got deep roots here.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you. Megan DeGata. Megan, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
tell
a
us
community member,
Mhm.
and I have a son in 8th grade at George and a 4th grader at Culver.
Wonderful. Okay, we have Kristen Daly. Kristen, are you here? Okay, now we have Mark Anthony Daniels. I think Mark Anthony may be a student. Are you here? Okay. Then we have Paul Darren, D-A-R-O-N. Paul?
Hey, this is Paul Darren, community member, son at George Ranch and daughter at Polly Ryan.
Okay, nice to meet you. LJ,
Hi, LJ Edenmeyer. I am the theater arts director at George Ranch High School, and I have a son at Terry High School and a spouse at Polly Ryan, Reading, and George.
wow, nice to see you. Catherine Ellis.
Hi, I'm Catherine Ellis. I'm a junior at Fulshire High School.
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And then we have Brian Forshey. Brian, are you here? Okay. Katrina, is it Katrina?
Yes, ma'am. Brian Forshey.
Oh, there's Brian.
I'm the associate principal at George Ranch High School. I've got 3. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute not mute my video. Else
Okay.
I'll go on the maroon track as well.
Okay. So, Brian, you're staff member. We're glad you're on the committee. Next, I have Katrina. Is it Gilroy?
Yes, Katrina Guillory. Good evening, everyone. I'm an assistant principal at Reading Junior High. I also have 5 little ones attending Arredondo Elementary and Polly Ryan.
Oh, my goodness. A lot of homeschooling been going on, hasn't there? Suzanne Hampson. Suzanne here? Okay. Andronic Harding.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andronique Harding. Good try.
It was a horrible try, but I'll get better.
No problem. I'm a community member. I have one daughter that's presently attending George Ranch, a son that graduated George Ranch, and a daughter that graduated at Lamar.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Scott Hartfeld. Is Scott here?
He's here. He's listening in my office. But he's
Okay. Well, hi, Scott. We're glad. Scott is a school person, right?
Scott is project manager at facilities and planning.
Gotcha. Project man. We'll get to know him. Janice Harvey.
Hi, Janice Harvey, principal at Roberts Middle School, and I have a senior at Fulshire High School.
Okay, Janice, not Janice, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Jennifer Hester? Jennifer here? Okay. Mitchell, how do you pronounce I-M-R-I-E?
It's Emery.
Emery,
Hi.
just like it sounds. How are you,
Yes,
Mitchell?
ma'am. I'm doing well. I'm a junior at Foster High School.
Junior at Foster High School. Wonderful. Thank you. And then, okay, here's another student. Is it A-I-L-Y-A-H? Help me there, Barbara. Where are you? Aaliyah. Okay, Aaliyah, introduce yourself.
I'm a junior at Terry High School.
Thank you so much. David Jacobson.
Good evening. I'm the Chief Technology Information Officer for the district.
Important job. Nice to meet you. Barbara, you have to wave at everybody. Tell us about Barbara Johnson.
Hi, good evening. I am Barbara Johnson. I work for Mike Rockwood in the Chief of Staff's office.
She is wonderful. She's worked very hard with Ken and I to get ready for tonight. So where's Mike Jones?
I'm right here.
Right there, Mike.
I'm the transportation director for the school district.
Wonderful. Thank you. And is it Janine or my eyes are bad too. Is it Janine Jordan or?
Jareen Jordan.
Jareen Jordan. Okay. Hi, Jareen.
I'm the principal at Travis Elementary.
Travis Elementary. Wonderful. Okay, Chris Junty. Chris, I know I did horrible on your name.
Oh, that's cool. You're right. That was good.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Chris, tell us about yourself.
I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Support Services in the district.
Okay, wonderful. And Craig, is it K-A-L-K-O-M-E-Y?
Calcomey.
Yeah, Craig's a board member. He's a trustee. Hi, Craig.
No, I'm a community member. I've got a second grader and a soon-to-be kindergartner at Adolphus Elementary.
Okay, I got off my list here.
No, that's all right.
Community member. Nice to meet you, Craig. And Roy Kleber, K-L.
It's Clover.
Okay.
I'm a community member, but I actually work for the school district. I work in transportation. My daughter graduated 2 years ago from George Ranch, and I have a son that'll graduate next year from George Ranch.
Wow. Wow, Roy, thank you.
Thank you.
Lacombe? David? Lacombe?
Hi, yeah, I'm here, David Lacombe here. I'm project manager for Shell Oil. I have one daughter at Polly Ryan and another one at Campbell Elementary.
Okay, wonderful. Zach Lambert? Zach here?
Yes, my name is Zach Lambert. I run Mercy Goods here in town, and then I have a wife who's a teacher at Lamar High School, and then I have 2 kids at Jane Long Elementary and 1 son at West.
Wow, thank you so much, Zach. Jennifer Lane.
Hi there.
Hi,
I
Jennifer.
work. Hi, howdy. I work in the school district as a substitute teacher. I'm a lifelong Fort Bend County resident, and I serve on the city council for the city of Sugar Land.
Oh, okay. Wow, busy lady. Jill Ludwig.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Financial Officer for the district.
So we'll be hearing more from you tonight, Jill.
Yes, you will.
Matthew Macha, or Maka, tell me how I butchered that name. Matthew, are you here? Okay. Let's go to Chris Martin. Chris?
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Martin. I'm the risk manager for the Texas State Technical College System, and I'm the parent of a junior at Foster High School who happens to swim with Mitchell Emery on the swim team.
Oh, wonderful. Hope Martin.
Good evening. This is Hope Martin. I am a community member, and I was also a part of the 2017 bond committee.
Okay.
So great to be back.
Wonderful. You've got some experience.
I do.
Okay, Ted McCoy.
Hi, Ted McCoy. I apologize for the video, but I'm a community member. Okay. So I'll just leave it at that for now.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to meeting up with everybody and touching base with different people around the administrative staff as we go through our exercise.
Wonderful, Ted. Thank you.
Okay.
Kevin McKeever.
Hi, I'm Kevin McKeever. I'm Executive Director of Facilities and Planning for Lamar CISD.
Important person here. Chris McKinney.
Hi, Chris McKinney, community member. I've got 2 boys, one at Reading Junior High and one at Campbell Elementary.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Aaron Morgan.
Hi, I'm Director of Maintenance and Operations for Lamar Consolidated.
Gotcha. Thank you. And so then we have Terry, Mossige. Mossage. Terry, help me.
Terry Mossage. I'm the Chief Academic Officer for LCISD.
Wonderful. That's a great job. And I got your name right. I can't believe it.
You did.
Wow. Okay. What about Nikki Nelson? Is Nikki here?
Hi, I'm Nikki Nelson. I'm the Athletic Director for LCISD.
Oh, wonderful. Jasmine Nguyen. I think Jasmine might be a student.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I see you're here.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh. You're breaking up a little bit, Jasmine. What grade are you in? Can anybody hear? Okay, well, Jasmine, we're going to get to know you. We're going to spend some time together the next month or so. What about Kingsley? Now, Kingsley, I'm not even going to try to butcher your last name. You're going to tell us. There you go.
It's Wanguma. I'm a community member. I have a daughter at Colorado.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Kingsley. Okay, we've got a few more here. What about Alexis? I think Alexis may be a student, and I'll get you to tell me your last name if you're here.
Alexis Obiello.
Huh?
And Alexis Obiello, and I'm a junior at Foster High School.
Okay, we've got some great students. That's wonderful. Andre Osagle. Help me, Andre.
Good evening. Andre Osagi, Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education.
Okay. I think Ken has met most of you people. I'm just getting to know you this time. What about Lauren? Lauren, P-A-R-G-O-U-D. Lauren, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Lauren Pargu. I work for PBK.
Oh, PBK. Yes, that's right. So we'll be hearing from you. Thank you, Lauren. We've got Diane Parks.
Hi, I'm Diane Parks. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Elementary Education.
For elementary. Okay. Nice to meet you. Albert Perez.
Hi, I'm Albert. I'm a community member and have a 8th grader at Briscoe Junior High. And business owner, and also involved in the commercial construction arena as well.
Wow, busy man. What about Ben Perez?
Hey, greetings, everybody. Good evening. I'm Ben Perez. I'm a proud administrator at Taylor Ray Elementary School. I have a wife who's a curriculum specialist, family engagement, pre-K specialist for the district, and 2 wonderful boys who are attending Taylor Ray Elementary School.
Oh, you're a proud papa. We have Stacy Qualls. Stacy, are you here?
Hi, I'm Stacy Quarles, and I'm the assistant.
Quarles. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm the assistant principal at Jane Long Elementary.
Okay, thank you, Stacy Quarles. And I think I skipped Rose Pickens. Rose, didn't mean to skip you.
Oh, it's quite all right. Hi, guys. I'm Rose Pickens. I'm a community member. I have 2 students. One at Jackson and one at Wertheimer. And we have 3 generations of LCISD graduates. So we've been in the community for a very long time.
Oh my goodness, deep, deep roots. That's wonderful. Well, next on the list would be a man named Thomas Randle, but we're going to skip him. We're going to let him go last, but I didn't want you to think I'm being offensive to your superintendent. So we're going to jump to Carl Richards. Is Carl here? Nice. Carl? Okay, another very important man for this process is Mike Rockwood. Mike, will you introduce yourself?
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Rockwood. I'm the Chief of Staff for Lamar CISD. Obviously, you've received some emails from my office. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions during this process, feel free to reach out. I will mention just really quick so everyone's clear that if you go online, we have everything posted for this committee in preparation for this evening. And then following this meeting, we'll always post all the details online. And our committee is actually 61 members. So you're hearing lots of different names, but many of the staff members are not a part of the committee, but they're here as a resource to you. And so we're here to make sure that if you have questions during this process, we'll answer them and let the committee made up of 61 individuals do its work. So thank you all for being here, and I'll let y'all get going.
That was good. That was good clarification. Absolutely. Elisa Rodriguez.
Yes, my name is Alicia Rodriguez.
Alicia.
I'm a graduate of Lamar Consolidated High School, and I work for the City of Katy in the Parks and Recreation Department, and I have a first grader at McNeil Elementary.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Rick Salazar. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
There, yeah.
I'm also a graduate from Bar CISD, a lot younger, I mean, a lot older, of course. I do, and I have a daughter that's going to Briscoe. So.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And Maria Saldivar?
Yes, that's correct. Community member. One of my older sons graduated from BF Terry in 2017, and we still have two little ones at Arredondo.
Okay, wonderful. Lindsay Sanders.
Hi, I'm the Community Relations Director for the district.
Gotcha. Thank you. And Hayden Schultz. I think that may be a student.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a student at Orchestra High School. I'm representing the junior student body.
Okay, a junior. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now this is HEDAIAH. It's a student, and I don't want to butcher your name. So help me here. HEDAIAH. Are you here? Okay, I didn't see you check in, but if you're here and I missed you, we'll come back. What about Melissa Smith? Is Melissa here?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Melissa Smith here. I'm the principal of special sites in Lamar.
Okay, Melissa, not Melissa. I'll get that right. Okay, Jeffrey Sorbell.
Hi, my name is Jeff Sorbel, board member. Four boys within the district, 2 at George Ranch, 1 at Reading, and 1 at Austin Elementary.
Wonderful, and Jeff's a trustee. Wonderful, thank you. Shannon, Stavinoha. Shannon.
Hi, I'm Shannon Stavinoha. I am a proud alumni from Lamar Consolidated High School. My third and last child is an 8th grader at Lamar Junior High, so she'll be a freshman at Lamar. I was also raised by 2 teachers who have retired from Lamar Consolidated, and I was on the last bond committee. So,
oh my goodness,
been around for a minute. Yes.
My goodness, that's wonderful. I look forward to meeting you. Dawn Steff. Is Dawn here?
I'm Dawn Steff. I'm a member of the community, and I have 2 girls at Huggins Elementary, and I have a nephew who's a junior at Fulshire.
Okay, wonderful. Jeff Tallis.
Hello, everybody. I'm a community member with 2 boys as part of the George Ranch complex, a 7th grader and a 9th grader.
And a 9th grader. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Juan Torres.
Hello, I'm Juan Torres. I'm the assistant principal at Briscoe Junior High.
Okay, wonderful. And Dave Vresk, V-R, I'm sure I ruined that. Tell me, Dave, how to pronounce your last name. Are you here, Dave? Okay. Elijah Wahome.
Hi, it's Wahome. Hi.
Wahome. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm an 11th grader at George Ranch High School.
Okay, and tell me again, I missed your grade.
Oh, 11th grade, junior.
11th grade, okay, a junior, yeah. We got a lot of juniors. That's wonderful, thank you. Quentin Wallace. Quentin, okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a community member, local pastor. I have 3 kids on the red track, respectively, at Terry, George Junior High, and Navarro.
Wonderful. Thank you, Quentin. Dallas Warren.
Good evening. My name is Dallas Warren. I'm the Chief of Police for the school district.
Okay, wonderful. Sydney, and Sydney is WHIGAM. Wilgam? Sydney, are you here? What about Tony Wolverton?
He's here in my office too. He's a project
Okay, you've got a lot of people in your office there. That must be the place to be. What about David Worley? Okay. Ashley Zapata? Okay. And then we have a few more staff members. Have I called out Joy Williams? Is Joy here? John Welch. Barbara, these at the bottom, were they supposed to be here tonight too? Or
those are our board members for the district.
Oh, okay. Okay. Did I leave anyone out? Is there anyone that I didn't call the names besides your superintendent?
Sherry, my name's David Maha. You had called Matthew Maha. 50 years in the district. A senior graduating foster this year.
Okay, thank you so much. So it's David, not Matthew.
Correct.
Okay, we will get all this right. Well, this is an impressive group. I'm excited to meet all of you in person tonight virtually. So let's introduce your superintendent. You all know him, Dr. Thomas Randle. Dr. Thomas, do you want to talk to this group?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for giving up your time to serve on this bond committee. I've been fortunate enough to, my very first one was in 2003. Never would I have thought that we would be doing one virtually. But I can tell you, just looking at your smiling faces and your commitment to helping us to continue to be proactive, because as long as this community has been very, very good at supporting and understanding the growth that we're faced with, and we haven't been in a reactionary mode, because we've had individuals like you that have looked at what our growth is and what our needs are going to be out in the future. So again, thank you all for giving your time. I am really excited about moving forward with this bond proposal.
Okay. And thank you so much, Sherry. I echo everyone's sentiments here as far as it's great to see each and every face, even though I know that took a little while. But face it, that's what we would have done if we were all together in the boardroom. We would have given each other an opportunity to say who we are and and our role, and at least we can do that. So I'm going to get us started. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the presentation. Again, all these materials, as Mike said, will be shared on our website. But first thing I want to do is just kind of the outcomes for tonight and go through the process. As Mike says, and I think there are a large amount of people beyond our committee that are involved in this, and they're there as resources and support and to answer questions. And if I were to say, what are the 2 outcomes for tonight? One is to get a considerable amount of information in order for you to do your work. And second is for you to begin to generate any questions that you might have as we go through this. And we're going to have a process for you to do that. Being together virtually, it's really not effective for us to just open it up for questions, although we might do that face to face, but it's just not as conducive in this kind of setting. But we have another way to do that, and we're going to use the chat function, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. This will be the only night of your work that's a lot of sit and get for you. After this, it'll be work. And I'll talk more about the work, and Sherry will talk more about the work as we move forward. But tonight it's about getting information, getting to know one another, and getting to know the process. And with that, that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to talk about the role of the Citizens Bond Advisory Committee, our process, the schedule, and our norms of which we will work under. Then once I've done that, we will hear some presentations from Kevin McKeever, the Executive Director of Facilities. We'll hear a demographic report and the initial project needs from Mike Rockwood. And, oh, by the way, that is Dr. Mike Rockwood. That's pretty exciting. He just got his doctorate, so congratulations to Mike. And then from Jill, which is, we will hear a financial update. And I put parameters, but essentially it's a financial update for that. And then we'll talk about next steps. Let me put this on Prez so you can really see it better. The role of the CBAC is very simple. Our job is to develop a recommendation for what should be included in the 2020 bond referendum to be transmitted to the Board of Trustees for its consideration. An important aspect to remember is the staff, as tonight, is going to give us, based on their information from their facility study, from the demographic report, and all the information they have, and all the history of construction and growth, they're going to give us an initial project list or recommendation, if you will, or a needs assessment. Once that's handed over to this committee, and we do additional work to refine that list and add projects as needed, this recommendation belongs to the committee at that point. Lamar Consolidated, I think, leads so well in the fact that they want to be extremely transparent. And this is why someone like Sherry and I are doing this work, because our role is to make sure the process is followed and we don't have an agenda. We're not pushing toward any particular thing. This is totally your recommendation is with you, and Sherry's big role in this will be to help you come to consensus on that. We did it in 2014 and 17. The process works very well. So this is our role. This comes from the Framework for Facilities Planning in 2003, which is reviewed by the board. Let's see if I can get it to move forward. The committee, of course, is, I think it's 61 or 62. At the time I did this, it was about 62. But ballpark, we're looking at 60 members, and you've recognized that it's a diverse group of people that are on this committee. I'm going to pardon just a second. There's somebody in the waiting room, so I want to admit them real quick. Sorry about that. I don't want them to miss. You will see on the website the master plan principles. I'm not going to go over those right now to save time, but I want you to make sure, if you don't know what those are, go to the website, and that's where I've gotten the website, Bond 2020 Planning. The district has a wealth of information on that website, but look at those master plan principles. This is essentially those guidelines in which the district is trying to live by as they move forward on the size of their schools and their philosophy on growth and how to manage that through the facility program. Our committee will work in groups, and we'll start that process next week. Sherry and I will be working together this week along with staff to put that together. But we will bust up into some groups next week, and we already know we're going to be doing a Zoom meeting next week. We're just taking that week to week till we find out whether we're going to be able at some point in time to be face-to-face. Hopefully that will happen. But even if we have to be on Zoom, we can still work in breakout groups within Zoom, and we'll facilitate that. We'll provide all the information you need this week. I'm going to probably provide a little training video of what we're expecting each committee to do, and you'll really start your work next week. We're going to work toward consensus, and Sherry will talk all about that as we work through it to develop a recommendation by the time we're done. Our timeline, make sure you have all these dates on your calendar. Of course, we have our first meeting tonight, which I've explained the outcomes of it. And then we'll start our group work next week. We'll continue that in week 3. And we'll continue that as long as needed until we come to consensus on a final recommendation that will be submitted to the bond committee on June 18th, and then to the board as a whole. When we get and with a public hearing and so forth. Sherry and I's work really is completed with the recommendation part. Once that's done, then the staff and the committee take over with communicating that particular thing. Some norms: just to be fully present at the meetings, which you are, and attentive to behaviors which affect physical and mental engagement, which is somewhat easier to do in a Zoom environment, because if you mute your audio, that typically cuts down on anything that might disturb the meeting. But that's a statement we would normally have face-to-face, but it's a little bit different with Zoom, especially in your groups, and even when we're together, when we're having some type of open discussion. Make sure you invite and welcome contributions of every member, listen to each other, be very respectful. Never had an issue with Lamar whatsoever on that. Every committee member has always been extremely respectful. They may have different opinions, they may have different disagreements, but they've done it very respectfully, and we come up with a consensus after we listen to all and hear all and work through all. All right, now we're going to have some presentations. In just a moment, I'm going to turn the host duties over to Kevin. But an important thing I want you to do, I'm going to slip to the next slide so you can see. A couple of things. First, start taking notes. Anything you're hearing that you might want more information on, or especially if you have a question. The way we're going to operate in this environment is we're going to use the chat area. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see chat. And I want you to post the word question, : and then whatever your question is. And you can do that all throughout the meeting. That you don't have to wait till the end. You can do that as you think of that. So that's going to be very important. So one of the things I will do is, once the first presenter is finished, and their job is to present kind of an overview of their area. And again, all this will be posted for you. We'll take all those questions that we get tonight. And then if you have additional, say you think of something else tomorrow, or you think of something else on Wednesday, you're going to forward that question to Mike Rockwood's office, to Mike, and he will add that to the list. The intent will be is hopefully no later than Thursday or Friday, we will be able to send that Q&A document back to you. Again, no promises, because sometimes those questions take a little research to answer, but we'll get it back as soon as possible. And one of the first things we'll do next week is debrief from all of that work. But the ones that go on the chat tonight, I can download, I can translate to a formal or to a Word document, and I can get that. My goal is to get two things to Dr. Rockwood tonight. One is the video recording, the file of this recording for tonight, and the copy of the questions that we generate tonight. So with that, I'm going to stop talking, and Kevin, I'm going to find your name. Kevin, unmute yourself so it'll move you to the top, if you will. Oh, there you are. Good. I'm going to make you a host right now. It is all yours.
All right. Get this up at the top. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to get y'all a update on the 2017 bond and where we are with construction. And we'll move through this.
Kevin, I think you've got us on the presenter view.
Oh, okay. How do we change that? How do we change it? Let's see.
Kevin, where you are right now, if you were to go to the presentation icon down at the bottom right.
It's not doing it.
Click on the display settings, that drop down, and hit that duplicate. You should get a full screen.
Okay.
There you go.
Now, can y'all see that?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. What I wanted to start off with is just what's in the growth part of our 2017 bond. You'll see that it included a new high school, 3 elementary schools, a new junior high, new technology upgrades, land purchases of $20 million, and a large renovation and addition at Alternative Learning Center. This is just a rendering picture of the new high school, Dr. Thomas Randle High School. Also in the renovations portion of the 2017 bond, we're re-roofed at Austin Elementary and Seguin Early Childhood Center. Those projects are complete. We installed LOT labs, which is language other than English labs at Lamar Consolidated High School, Terry High School, and Foster High School, so that now all 5 high schools have LOT labs. Classroom Intruder lock sets. We installed classroom lock sets at every classroom, which means that the classrooms could be locked from the inside, not having to open up the door, as well as electrified hardware at the school entries. Serving lines, child nutrition serving lines were installed at Terry High School and George Junior High. You can see this picture at Terry High School. Brand new serving lines, they're really nice. Multi-campus improvements. We have projects at Williams Elementary where we created a brand new entry to the school with a secure vestibule. We also had new carpet and vinyl wall covering projects as well. The new carpet was at Navarro, Westendorf, Campbell, and Williams. The vinyl wall covering was at Westendorf and Campbell. Those projects are complete. At 4 of our high schools, Terry High School, Foster, George Ranch, and Fulshire, we installed synthetic turf at their sub-varsity football fields, and those projects are complete, as well as a new track surface at Foster High School. Foster High School also got some athletic improvements. The lockers in the field house were replaced, and the baseball and softball received new dugouts, new backstops, and netting for foul balls at that campus. That project is complete. Freezer cooler replacements. We replaced freezers and coolers at Austin Elementary, Beasley, Huggins, Taylor Ray, Travis, Pink, and Williams Elementary. Those projects are complete. Now, the ALC additions and renovations, this project is in proposal phase right now. This will bring 1621 and ALC on one campus, providing a really nice campus for that school. Hopefully it will start soon. Jane Long Historical Gym is also in proposal phase. This project will renovate the old Jane Long Gym and bring student services and common threads to work out of this facility. Transportation fuel tanks. This project will start construction in May. This will bring the underground storage tanks, remove those, and the underground waste oil tank and put them both above ground and update the fuel delivery system. So this is at the Rosenberg terminal, and this project will start in May. Terry High School and George Junior High. This is a construction manager at risk project. GMP 1 has already been approved. It will start the bleacher renovations at the Ranger Field, and then the rest will start this summer and next summer with parking lot resurfacing, fine arts additions and renovations, science lab renovations, gym bleacher replacement, multipurpose room additions, and wall floor renovations. Georgia Junior High also will get the locker room renovations and the forum renovations, and a little bit of parking and entryway work will also happen at George Junior High. Those projects will be starting this summer and carry on into next summer. Lamar Consolidated High School and Lamar Junior High, again, additions and renovations. This project is a CM at risk project. GMP 1 for this project will go to the board in May. This will add a sub-varsity field for Lamar Consolidated High School, large group instruction, multi-purpose facility room, also band addition and renovation, and site improvements for drainage. Lamar Junior High also will get a choir and orchestra addition, modified parent drop-off, renovate the HVAC system, new intercom, and some site improvements for both parking and driveway and drainage. This project will also start this summer. We have another project that is starting very soon. Matter of fact, construction will start on May the 11th for the carpet replacement at Foster High School, Briscoe Junior High, Jane Long Elementary, Pink, and Jackson Elementary. And so we're looking forward to that process starting. It's going to start a little bit earlier than we expected, but that's a good thing. We also have some improvements in HVAC controls upgrade, buoys getting a new front canopy, renovating the cafeteria to remove the stage and increase cafeteria size, renovate the serving line, additional parking. Jackson will also get a new serving line and some drainage work out front. Taylor Ray, they've already started construction, improving the drainage out front, and Smith improving the drainage in the courtyard. You can see a picture over here of what the Smith courtyard will look like. These projects are all about to start and get underway to be completed this summer. Brazos Crossing exterior improvements. This project will replace the exterior facade around this building to correct some issues that's been going on a long time for this building. The design development will be brought to the May board meeting. Multi-purpose rooms and orchestra additions. This project is going to be at Foster High School, George Ranch High School, and Fulcher High School. When this is complete, then all of our high schools will have multi-purpose spaces. We're also adding orchestra rooms to Navarro, Westendorf, Wertheimer, and Polly Ryan middle schools for the orchestra program. This is in proposal phase, and we should be taking a recommended contractor to the board in May. Now for the new high school number 6, which is Dr. Thomas Randle High School and Harry Wright Junior High. This project is going well. You can see from this aerial view, this is on schedule and is still planned to open August of 2021. You can see it's located, this is FM 2977 in Copeland Road, and this is what the facility looks like now. This project is going very well. This is an aerial view of the high school. The athletic field's behind here. Things are going very well with this project. All the steel is up, and so now they're working on drying everything in. This is a picture of the junior high. Things are coming together quite nicely. This is Harry Wright Junior High. Traylor Stadium press box replacement. The press box at Traylor is moving along very well. It is scheduled to be complete August of this summer. Here's a current view of the steel going up. The steel is now complete. So this week you will start seeing some CMU, and the masonry is going to be on site doing that portion. This project is going very well. It's very impressive. Also out for bid right now is Fletcher Morgan Elementary School. We will be taking bids on May 5th on this project. This is the first of 3 elementary schools. In the 2017 bond, and Fletcher Morgan Elementary is located in the Fulcher Lakes subdivision, which is just north, on the north side of 1093, just north of Weston Lakes. So for the 2017 bond, this shows your schools and land, technology, interior improvements, athletics, fine arts, exterior improvements for a total of $445,451,000. Now, I kind of want to transition. We've started and completed the long-range facilities master plan. PBK architects and Leaf engineers helped us to do the facility assessment, as well as staff and principals with questionnaires and site visits. We went through every facility that the district owns. Took about a year to do this. It is now online, and this document is a living document, so it will be changing and updating as we go and find new things that are different priorities. You can see in this document, it's broken up as an introduction. We have some history of the district. We have our demographics in there that we had an update in February, and it is current in this document. We have our new schools and major projects in there, as well as a facility condition assessment. Took a lot of time with that. putting that together, and the district-owned property as well. This is just a couple of pages out of the document from PASA, who is our demographer, and our moderate growth rate charts are in there, shows what the district's doing. This document shows how we categorize some things and did some priorities. The priorities showing priority 1 are life expectancy that needs to be addressed in 1 to 2 years, priority 2, 3 to 5 years, and so on. So that's how some of these priorities were derived in the facilities assessment. When you look at the sheets that are in that document, it shows priority 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, and then it just has, this is just a overview of what those priority 1s look like. And that's how we come up with individual sites. It shows the site aerial shot as well as a picture of the front of the building. This is all in that document. And then in each one of these items are items that were derived from the visits, from the principal's questionnaire, from staff questionnaires, and from engineers and architects and our staff walking those facilities. And that's where all these came from. And that's it for how the long-range facilities plan. It is online. You can go to the website for Lamar CISD under departments where facilities and planning. Once you click on that, you'll see the icon for the long-range facilities plan. And that's all that I have.
Okay. Let me admit a couple of people that probably dropped or somehow got dropped and are now back up. Thank you, Kevin, very much. Going back to what I said earlier, make sure, and several of you are doing a great job with that right now, post your questions that you may have already developed to the chat, or make sure you're taking notes because you may develop a question later. And those are very important as we move forward. That's going to help the staff research those questions this week and then help us get that information to you as soon as possible. Okay, Mike, I think you're next. And let me make you the host and get out of your way. There you go.
Okay, give me 1 second and I will share my screen here. That doesn't look right. I'm having some issues just like my friend Kevin here. Okay, what is everyone seeing right now? You're muted, Dr. Helmy.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so you can see the presentation up here?
Yes, yes.
All right, apologies for getting it. Now it's full screen? Okay, all right, I got some thumbs up. Apologies, everyone.
Yes, yes.
So a quick overview. Every year, Lamar CISD has a demographic report by our demographic firm, Population and Survey Analysts. We've been using them for over a decade, and they've been within a percentage point of accuracy annually in estimating and projecting the number of students that we're going to have year to year in Lamar CISD. So what I have here is just a brief overview from some slides that they presented in February. And this full presentation and the full demographic report can be found online right now under the About section. But for those who might guess, Lamar CISD is a very fast-growing school district in the state of Texas. There are over 1,000 school districts in Texas. and we currently rank in the top 10. You look here on the screen, you'll see that the numeric change for Lamar CISD from 2013 to 2018 was over 6,000 students. And so we really are there on the western portion, the epicenter of growth, along with that Conroe area, Katy, and Alvin. When you look at the fastest growing school districts in the state of Texas with more than 30,000 students, Lamar CISD ranks number 4. You see the numeric growth there, adding over 1,200 students per year. This last year, we did add 1,300 students to Lamar CISD. You'll also notice our growth rate is the highest among the districts with more than 30,000 students. And so we've been experiencing growth in recent years, and the projections show that that could continue. Another point of pride is that as you become a larger and larger school district, it's sometimes not always easy to maintain that academic performance. But when you look here at the districts with more than 30,000 students, Lamar CISD still ranks in the top 10 in terms of star passage rates. And you see that there at 82.6% for 2018, 2019, and relatively consistently the same scores over the previous 4 years. So kudos to our academics department for doing a great job with our students. When you look at housing trends in Lamar CISD, we now rank number 2 in the Houston metro area. So this would be every school district in the greater Houston area, more than 61 school districts. We are number 2 in terms of housing starts. Number 1 is Fort Bend ISD. But as you can see here, in just a few years, in 2024, they'll basically run out of lots and room, whereas Lamar CISD is roughly 35% built out. So we have a lot more room to grow, and we are right there in that number 2 spot. In terms of projected housing occupancies, this slide shows some of the newer developments that have popped up, or some developments within developments that are growing in Lamar CISD. I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but Candela is a new Johnson development. It popped up. This is 359 right here. And this is just north of Bentley Elementary, where the old Color Spot Nursery used to be. Up here, this is the Cross Creek Ranch entrance, and there is a lot of development occurring in that area. Kevin talked a little bit earlier about that Fulshire area. This is Fulshire Lakes. We are experiencing some growth on the northeast side, right around the Gallery Furniture area. In the heart of the district, this area in the center is the Veranda area, and just south of that, we have some newer developments, Sendero and Tejas Village. And so one of the things you often find in fast growth school districts is there's one area of very rapid growth. And by and far, the northwest portion of the district, up there in the Katy, Fulshire, Simonton area, is our fastest growing area, but we are definitely seeing growth all over Lamar CISD as compared to other school districts. When you look at new housing occupancies for Lamar CISD, over 51,000 new housing occupancies are expected over this 10-year period. And what's interesting there is that over 40,000 of those are single-family homes. I often reference and tell folks that in 2014, Lamar CISD had just under 40,000 single-family homes from its existence. And that goes back to the old 300 to 2014, there were only 40,000 single-family homes in the district. So when you look at adding an additional 40,000 single-family homes to our community over a 10-year period, we're essentially doubling what our school district and our community looks like. You see here the moderate growth scenario. So what our demographer gives us every year is a slow growth, a moderate growth, and a fast growth scenario. We've been trending along that moderate growth scenario over the past decade. And you see there, 2020, we're expected to have about 36,840 students, or a growth of about 1,600 students. And you go all the way across there and you see by 2029, we will have projected 61,553 students. And one of the things Lamar CISD has always tried to be is proactive when it comes to the growth. And you see us essentially doubling size over a 10-year period. This is another way to look at that number right there, but you see the growth trajectory on that moderate growth rate, right at about 35,000. We're at 35,515 students as of today. You see us looking at about 46,000 students in 2024, and 61,500 plus students on a moderate growth rate. And even if we were to slip and go down to a low growth rate, you're still looking at an additional 20,000 students from what we have right now at 55,000. So a lot of growth still projected in Lamar CISD, as I mentioned, roughly about 35% built out. With this slide right here, what you see overall is, again, the outline of Lamar CISD, or the shape. And you, as I mentioned, that northwestern portion is the area of highest growth in Lamar CISD. But this talks about the growth from every single one of our elementary campuses. You see that Huggins area, 2,795 additional students, another 870 students in the Tamarron zone, another 1,000 plus in Lindsay. And so the need to have new campuses is critical in those areas as you see the growth. Frost, we opened up Adolphus a few years ago, and that area with McCrary Meadows is booming in the center of the school district. And then you see all across Carter, which just opened a couple of years ago, adding 598 students over the next decade, Culver another 1,000. So you can just see here, and this will be up for your review later, that we are still experiencing a lot of growth throughout Lamar CISD. Now, what I want you all to look at for these slides is the yellow areas. And so what this goes through is that you see here, the projection is to have 2 new elementary schools for the 2022 school year. And so this is right over here near Weston Lakes. This is right over here by the gallery furniture area. Then the following year in 2022, that brand new Candela development by the Color Spot Nursery, over by the Veranda development, and then south in between Culver and Thomas, there will be projected a need for another elementary school. Up north, near Lindsay and Tamarron, Jordan Ranch, and that area will likely need a school by 2023. You see the yellow up there. And then another campus likely in the Cross Creek Ranch subdivision by 2024. 2026 shows the need for another campus up in that northwest portion. And again, something on the backside of Frost, south of Hubenack, and east of Bentley, right along FM 723. And so all of those slides put into one is on this page right here, where you see 2 campuses by 2021. You see 3 campuses by 2022, another campus in 2023, another campus in 2024, and 2 in 2025. And so this is just a projection for clarity. This is not necessarily a plan that we're going to follow to a T, but it does provide some insight, typically about 5 years out, what our growth patterns look like, and it helps us make decisions on where campuses go. But you see right there in the middle, I talked about that Candela subdivision that popped up, and we always build our campuses in the areas of greatest need, but this does show the need for continued growth in campuses in Lamar CISD. If you move over to our secondary campuses, you can see the breakup. We have color tracks in Lamar CISD. You see the purple track, the gold track, blue, red, and maroon. But it's easier to see the growth on this next slide, in my opinion. And you can see currently all of our 6th grade campuses are doing well in terms of capacity. But by 2024, you start to see those creep up. And where you see the yellow, white highlighted bar on the screen, that represents at least 120% campus capacity space utilization. So you're 20% over the maximum capacity of the campus at that point. So we've got a few years out for our middle schools. You see with our junior highs, the same thing, a few years out, Lehman looking to be over capacity by 2024. And then we get to our high school campuses. And so you can see our secondary attendance zones are all the same, but you see Fulcher in the north, Foster right there in the north, Lamar and Terry in the center, and George Ranch in the southeast. But this next slide again articulates what that looks like. We're very aware that George Ranch is over capacity. And part of that is the construction that Kevin mentioned of our 6th high school, Randle High School. So that is up and coming, which would alleviate both George Ranch and Terry High School. But you see, looking at 2023, the growth patterns at both Foster and Fulcher are not slowing down. And there will be some needed relief in the very near future as well. So that is a very quick overview of our demographic report. Again, you can find this full report online, as well as the full 400+ page document demographic report for anyone who wants to dig in, but we'll be happy to share that with everyone as well. So that transitions us over into our needs assessment for this bond committee. This was shared with our school board during the April school board meeting, and now we're bringing it to you. It's basically the starting point for everyone to look at and make some changes and additions and make it yours, so to speak. But in Lamar CISD, we've been on a 3-year bond cycle. When we're a fast growth district, we want to be proactive. We want to go out and make sure that every 3 years we're looking at what are the needs of the district, and we're not getting to a point where we're trying to pass a bond when we're just busting at the seams at every single campus, so to speak. But Kevin talked about the long-range facilities master plan. That was a 13-month process. It included insight from all of our departments, all of our campus principals. There was a lot of boots on the ground for over a year to make sure that we had a good understanding of the existing issues that might be in place on some of our campuses that aren't brand new. And so we do have that long-range plan that was presented to the school board 2 months ago, and that's helping to guide some of our decisions in this needs assessment. In fact, this long-range facilities master plan has some different codes, and a priority code 1 means that it's something that has to be corrected in 1 or 2 years, or it's a safety issue. And what you're going to see in this needs assessment is only priority 1s, along with growth issues for campuses and growth issues for technology and transportation. We talked about Lamar CISD being one of the top 10 fast growth districts in Texas, over 1,000 school districts. You saw in that demographic report the need for at least 3 additional elementary schools to open by 2024 that are not currently funded. You also saw the need there with the growth at both Fletcher and Foster, the need for an additional high school and junior high school in the very near future as well. So each of these sections that I'll go through, you see a title at the top of the page. This is new facilities and land. And how it's sorted is from highest price to lowest price on each page. And again, this one is new facilities and land. So our bond needs assessment includes a new high school, which would be our 7th high school in Lamar CISD, 3 new elementary schools based upon the growth in the area, a new football stadium. And I will pause here and mention that football stadiums, event centers, performing arts centers, those types of facilities have to be broken out as part of a menu. So ultimately, if the Citizens Bond Advisory Committee chooses to keep a football stadium or an event center or something like that in this bond proposal, it will not be one thing the community members are voting on, but that will be broken out as a separate menu option. And so we'll certainly talk more about those types of details as this process goes along. You see a new junior high school, which is connected to the high school, land sites to continue to purchase areas we'll need to build these campuses, a new middle school to complete the Randle High School Wright Junior High Complex, a new transportation terminal somewhere down south. We currently have the Rosenberg transportation site and the Fletcher transportation site. Again, we are 385 square miles in Lamar CISD, and that's roughly 45% of Fort Bend County. So we are very large land-wise. That's bigger than Houston ISD in terms of the amount of land that we cover. And so having that additional facility would be beneficial. And then also a new police station, as we have currently decided to create and form a Lamar CISD police department. An event center, similar to the football stadium that's on the previous slide, this would be its own item on a menu if the committee chooses to include it. One of the reasons we brought this to the Community Citizens Bond Advisory Committee is that over the years, there has been some comments or questions about an event center in the community, and we have had conversations with the county and with other governmental entities about potentially building some type of facility that would house our graduation ceremonies that would be used for community events. Currently, we use the Merrill Center up north in Katy ISD, and then over to the east, Smart Financial Center is over there. So currently, we're number 2 or number 3 in line for some larger facilities, but as we grow, we wanted to put this out for the committee to look at and have some conversations about, is it time to add an event center to Lamar CISD for graduations and community events. Now on this area, this is interior improvements to existing facilities. And so this is 2 pages. So you see this is page 1 and this is page 2. You'll notice the bottom total for interior improvements is at $65 million. And again, these 2 pages are in order from highest to lowest. And what we've done here, and this is for this presentation to the committee, is that we have condensed all items by campus together with one price. Certainly, as we go through this process, you see right there, Briscoe Junior High, $6.3 million, and you see the description of all the things that would be needed. The committee will get a breakdown by campus of every single one of these items and the exact price for each one. But just as an overview for this evening, you see all of those lumped together. That's the price point for that campus for interior improvements. You see going down, Lamar Consolidated High School, George Junior, many areas that are included in this interior improvement section. One thing I want to mention there, it's the 4th item down, district-wide replace classroom furniture. One of the things that we've been going through with our facilities and planning team and our academic department is facilities that are 20 years old, replacing all of the furniture at that campus. Now, our campuses certainly have a small budget item for year to year to fix or replace classroom furniture that might be broken here or there, but there is a life cycle when you've got 20 years of furniture at several campuses. That is also placed for interior improvements for consideration, and we will certainly have some further discussions about that. So again, the second page concludes all of the interior improvements, but as a high-level snapshot, we just wanted the committee to see these items, and it's roughly $65 million for our interior improvements. Moving over to technology, you see $63 million, the highest totals being a district switch upgrade and security camera system expansion. Everything listed here is to help with the growth of Lamar CISD and making sure that our technology is up to date. You see student laptops, iPads, desktop computers, and the interactive whiteboards, which is a district standard to have an interactive whiteboard in every single one of our campuses. In terms of exterior improvements, similar to the interior improvements, you've got 2 pages here, page 1 and page 2, which totals just over $49 million. You will see on these 2 exterior improvement areas a lot of roof replacements. Primarily, you see some concrete drive repair and some, again, metal panel roofing, broken sidewalks, these kind of issues that came out of our long-range facilities master plan. These are priority ones that could be some safety issues that need to be done over the next 1 or 2 years. In terms of athletics, you have a replacement practice pool at Terry High School. You have a practice pool added to Randle High School, and you see new tennis courts and parking and a new shot put and discus area at Lamar Consolidated High School. So just to clarify, all of our high school campuses currently have a practice pool as part of our natatorium master plan approved by the school board in 2013. And so what would happen here is you would replace the original Lamar CISD natatorium that's an open roof, no cover at Terry, and you would add that same facility that's on all of our other high schools to Randle High School for athletics. In terms of transportation, as you add new campuses and you build new facilities, you need to purchase new buses. You see 78 new buses in this proposal for just over $9 million. The Rosenberg site is that center area at $6.9 million. That is the original transportation facility in Lamar CISD, and it talks about some of the immediate issues that are needed in that facility, again, based upon the long-range facilities master plan. You also see upgrading the bus system and adding audio-visual recording devices at the Fulcher site to total just over $17 million for transportation.
And Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt. You're the host. Can you go to participants and admit Roy? He had to jump out and we need to readmit him.
Yes, I can try.
Should be able to go to participants down at the bottom.
I think I got him.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, back to where I was. Under fine arts, one of the things that was added in the 2014 bond was orchestra rooms at all of our middle schools. A few years ago, Lamar CISD started a orchestra program. We're one of the few districts in this area that did not have an orchestra program. We've launched that orchestra program. It is growing. And so the initial thought was to build those facilities at our middle schools. And as the program grows, we would add additional facilities at our junior highs and high schools. So you see those additions articulated here in fine arts for $12.7 million. In terms of safety and security, one of the areas that we need to look at is a district-wide and campus radio infrastructure. On some of our campuses, there are some areas where it's hard to get a signal for our campus administrators or law enforcement individuals. And so coming through and really replacing the infrastructure and making things better would improve our radio communications at our campuses, and this would be across the district. In terms of child nutrition, we would replace some equipment at Foster High School, at Seguin Early Childhood Center, and at George Junior High. And I know that as we go through this process and we look back on previous years, there were several campuses in the 2014 bond that received similar upgrades in child nutrition. And so it's just a matter of coming back and finding those that are becoming of age to get child nutrition updates as well. So I know that was a fast and furious overview of the needs assessment, but it's important to note that over 70% of that needs assessment was for new facilities and land based upon that demographic report you saw of Lamar CISD going from 35,000 students currently to 60,000 students by 2029. And we're, again, wanting to stay ahead of that curve. But all together on one page, you see new facilities landed over $500 million, the potential for a new event center, interior improvements at $65 million, technology at $63 million, exterior improvements at $49.4 million, athletics at $34.7 million, transportation at $17+ million, fine arts at $12.7 million, our security and safety at $3.4 million, and our child nutrition at $2.5 million for an initial needs assessment brought to you all at $876.9 million. This would be the largest bond referendum in Lamar CISD history. It includes only items for growth and those priority ones from our long-range facilities master plan. So now that we bring that to everyone here, it is a recommendation based on need. And so we will turn this over to Dr. Helvey later on after Jill speaks on the financial components and let you all look through each of these items. Again, this was the overview. We'll be happy to prepare and show you line by line each of these items in this needs assessment. And ultimately, at the end of this process, whenever you have an opportunity to say yay or nay or give your thoughts on the components, this committee will create a new recommendation that will look different than what we just saw and bring that back to the school board for consideration. So with that, Dr. Helvey, that concludes an overview of the demographics and the needs assessment.
Thank you so much. Let me make sure I'm unmuted. Thank you so much, Mike. Tremendous, great information. And I've been monitoring the questions. Fantastic questions. You're doing a wonderful job of getting those out there. So it's going to make it really good for us to be able to get information to the committee. And as many of you know, but sometimes it still will surprise us to the extraordinary growth that is representative of Lamar. And I would say Sherry and I both have never, we've been in high growth districts, but we just thought we were in high growth districts until we saw what happens in Lamar. So great job with that. And as Mike said, this is essentially this is a starting list, and then this is the list we will begin to dig into as a committee and as groups. And if any of you have sticker shock or whatever, I'm just saying, just breathe. Don't worry about it right now. We're going to work through this step by step till we work to a good consensus at the end. So right now we're gathering information that gives us the opportunity to put all this together. So we have another presenter before we close tonight with next steps, Jill. And Jill, if you'll unmute, so that'll move you to the top and say hi. And I'm good. I'm going to make you a host, and you may take over.
All right. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking about the process we go through in order to pay for all of those projects or the combination of projects that you guys finally decide on. Okay, so as both Mike and Kevin talked about, there's a needs assessment that is prepared first, and that's the basic recommendation to the Citizens Bond Advisory Committee. It's established for y'all to review and revise as necessary, and then the CBAC turns that group of projects over to the Board of Trustees, and they can adopt the recommendation or they can revise it. And if you'll remember back when we were covering the timeline, that's the June 18th meeting. At least that's the way it's proposed right now. The bond election, after the board determines whether they accept your recommendation as is or they revise it, they determine whether they're ready to call a bond election. And if so, they have to call a November bond election by August. There are some legal requirements and things, so they would have to call that election by August to have it in November. The bonds are then authorized by vote by the voters of Lamar CISD, and then administration considers that a commitment or a promise to the voters and our community. We then establish budgets for the projects that were approved within the bond total. And then we begin to determine one or more sales of the bonds based on the predetermined project schedule. We do not sell all the bonds at one time. We do it gradually as we are completing and establishing the schedule for the new projects. A large bond, say if we went forward with an $880 million election, there would probably be at least 3 sales. Typically, in the past, we've had at least 2 sales for each bond election. Then the projects are delivered per a predefined schedule. And as you know, school bonds are very similar to other government and municipal bonds. They're long-term loans from investors. The bond principal and interest is paid from the district's debt service fund. There's a separate tax rate which funds our debt service fund, and you'll hear it referred to as the interest and sinking rate. And it's based on the amount of principal and interest that's going to be coming due each year. Here you'll see our tax rate history back from 2009 to the present year. We were around $1.30 back in 2009, and we're at $1.32 for this current year. We hovered at roughly $1.39 for 8 years, and at an INS rate of 35 cents. The tax rate is expressed in terms of $100 taxable value. So it would right now would be 35 cents per $100 valuation. Now I'd like to talk about the issued bond and tax rate status. All bonds that have been authorized by our voters have been issued or sold as of last October. We have principal outstanding of $1,151,975,000 right now. In this past February, we paid a principal payment of a little over $25 million. Our current debt service tax rate, as I talked about before, is 35 cents. Of our total rate, we dropped 7 cents during this year. We really pride ourselves on being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. Some of the considerations we have when issuing bonds, and these are things that you'll be helping us with. We need to talk about the amount of debt that's currently outstanding and tax rate limitations. So we talk about what what we can actually afford. And then we also look at the timing of bond sales, like I mentioned earlier. We do not sell all the bonds at once, and we do not sell all the bonds right away after the election. We sell them according to the predetermined project delivery schedule. And that allows us to raise the tax rate as needed and hopefully in very small increments, if at all. We use different criteria to determine an estimate of how much we think a bond is going to cost in total. But there's a lot of variables in those estimates, such as the property value growth rate. We try to get an average rate that's reasonable, not too high, not too low. We look at what the economy might be doing in the next few years in order to determine that rate. And then we want to have a gradual impact on the debt service rate. And there have been many, many years that we've not had to raise the tax rate at all because our property value growth exceeded what was in the estimates. And we're hoping to have that same success rate going forward. Then we also look at bond maturities, which is the term or the amount of time for repayment of the bonds. We have a financial advisory firm named Post Oak Advisors, and they help us determine what types of bonds we issue, whether they're fixed rate or variable rate, what the varying maturities can be, interest rates and things like that. And we use that information to make our estimates for tax rate purposes, and then also for the sale of the bonds. They're the ones that actually go into the market and sell the bonds for us. And then, as I mentioned, we can have either variable or fixed rate bonds in various different structures. Here's an impact of our prior elections on the debt rate. Since 2003, we have sold $1.358 billion in bonds. You'll see the last 5 elections, 2003, 2006, 2011, 2014, and 2017. As Mike mentioned earlier, we try to do a 3-year rotation. We did skip one in there between 2006 and 2011, and that was because of the economic downturn. So we do try to work within our means. We have a current debt rate of 35 cents. Back in 2003, the debt rate was about 16.5 cents. So in the last 14 years, well, between 2003 and the 2017 bonds, actually the last 17 years, we've actually increased over the last 5 elections about 18.5 cents on the tax rate. So on this slide, I'm showing 2 different sizes of bond elections. So 2 referendum scenarios. And as I mentioned earlier, there's different criteria and different variables that influence how much these bonds cost. So for instance, if we were to sell $500 million in bonds, and again, gradually over several sales, at an estimated property value growth rate of 6.5%, and we were able to achieve interest rates for fixed rate bonds of 3% for the year 2021, which would be our first sale, and then 3.75% for the subsequent sales, then we would probably have to add about 4 cents to the tax rate for a $500 million election. For an $880 million election, it would probably cost 11 cents. And again, that's not all in the beginning. That's a few cents along the various number of sales that we have. So if you look at that from a homeowner's perspective, annual tax increase ranges from $80 to $220. So 80 on a $500 million sale, 220 on an $880 million sale. For a home valued at $200,000, And that's also, we do still have about a 3-cent increase to make on currently outstanding debt. But from 4 to 11 cents is what these bonds would cost with a value growth rate of 6.5% for the first 5 years. Now, if we were to do the $880 million referendum, I wanted to show you what different property value growth rates do to the calculation. As I said earlier, at a 6.5% value growth rate, an $880 million referendum would cost us 11 cents. If we were able to have a higher rate of growth at 8.5%, that same 11 cents would drop to 7. So you can see a bond election is a lot cheaper the higher the value growth rate is. If we were to fall to a 4.5% growth rate, it would then go from 11 to 16 cents. So you can see it costs more if our value growth slows down. But if something, if there's a reason that triggers the value growth rate dropping, we do consider that, and we could slow down our project schedule, because typically there's a reason for a value growth rate decline like that. So in this scenario, annual tax increase ranges from $140 to $320 on a $200,000 home. But we'll talk about this more along the way, of course. And then also, assuming a 6.5% annual growth rate of property values, if you look at a home with a net taxable value of $200,000, right now the tax rate is 35 cents. We believe we will probably have to increase the rate next year to 38 cents. So at 38 cents, that produces a tax of $760. And if we have a projected total debt rate of 49 cents, that's adding that 11 cents, then the tax total would be $980. So that would mean that this election itself would cause a $220 a year increase to a homeowner with a $200,000 home. So that kind of gives you an idea of what it would cost an individual taxpayer. And then also at the bottom, just another little guiding calculation to keep in the back of your mind is that for a home with a taxable value of $200,000, each penny on the tax rate will increase the tax bill by $20 a year. So that's about $1.67 a month. So in summary, the demographic report reveals that we do have continued growth in Fort Bend County and in Lamar CISD. And the additional residents and the economy established the need for additional facilities and renovations. And then, as I said earlier, future presentations will include estimated tax rates to support the various bond scenarios that you guys come up with. You can, you may delete projects, add projects, and as you do so, then we will, my team will work on getting you the financial information and the rate impact information that you need. With that, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Jill. Tremendous job by all three of you to get it's amazing. You just provided a huge amount of information and then referenced the fact that there are hundreds of pages of information that were assimilated just to get to this point. Great questions by the group, but thank you so much for providing. This is really a critical part of our process, is just getting that information as we move forward. Again, thank you so much. So I'm going to show back and share my screen so we can go kind of to the next step, which we're getting close to the end. Again, be sure to post any questions to that chat area, and you've been doing that, so great job with that. Our next steps, of course, review and reflect on the information presented today. I know Mike is going to have, or his office definitely will have everything up for you to see if it's not all there already. Any additional questions you have, please forward to Mike Rockwood's email address so he can include that in our master list. And really our first step for the first couple of meetings is step one is refining the project list. You've been given this massive initial list, but even with that initial list, there are things that you have on your mind or have seen or feel like need to be considered further. And so our job for the next couple of weeks is to get this list refined down to a master list that we can begin to come to consensus from or develop consensus with as a group. And as Jill said, and as Mike said, there will be additional information you will ask for as we move through this. We have lots of time. So let's just go through this step by step. Step one was get all the great information. Step two is to begin to refine this entire master list, and then we'll eventually come to a conclusion. Sherry and I will convey the process next week. Sherry is our consensus facilitator, so she'll be really working with that. Next meeting will be May 4th. At this, we're going to do Zoom again. We're going to use the breakout sessions, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to debrief from the Q&A because you will have received that back from the staff, and then get organized with our groups. The groups will work in our breakout sessions, and then we'll have a checkpoint at the end of our meeting. So we'll do all our work while we're online that night. We'll have a checkpoint at the end to see where we are, and then we'll proceed with next steps for the next week. So that concludes our work tonight. Sherry, do you have anything to add?
No, just looking forward to next week. We're really going to get down to work.
Yeah.
I've been monitoring the questions, great questions. I look forward to seeing the answers. So
you bet. Mike, close us off. Are you good to go?
We're all set. Just want to say thank you, everyone, for being flexible with our first ever virtual advisory committee meeting. We'll be sure to go through all of your questions. If you have additional ones, please send those to myself via email or to Barbara, and we will get those back to you ASAP.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for our presenters and all the information, and we look forward to next week. And with that, we are adjourned.